Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I have a very important video today on forgiveness. I want to talk about forgiveness. I wish to discuss it, what it means, and a deep dive into the purpose of forgiveness. From spirit, from my heart, from lessons and karmic tides. And in the end of this video, I will do a unique twist on the Ho'oponopono prayer for forgiveness. But I'm going to explain that too as we go. So stay through the whole video. The reason I'm going to do the healing in the end is because if we do not fully understand forgiveness, we cannot truly forgive. If you can hear the music in the background, it is my creation. It is my music. It was released today on my Hertz music channel, so I do own the rights to it, and it will be available for you to listen to fully. It is a frequency of abundance, power of manifesting, 396 hertz and 888 hertz. So hopefully you can hear it. If not, that's okay too. But I need to talk diligently about forgiveness. And right before I dive into that, I'll explain who I am. My name is Master Juniper Bloom Mystique. I am an Ascension Master, a Master Healer, and a Divine Guide. Since 2019, I had a sudden Kundalini awakening into who I am and what my purpose was. And I have been doing things to the earth. Big things that I didn't see coming, let alone healing people now for the last 6 years, 5 years, however long it's been. Doing things to pyramids, undoing lots of darkness, and even pertaining to big things, very big things. And I know for a fact that the world is changing as we speak. Okay, I know this diligently. I am very careful with what I talk about and how I talk about it because there's a lot going on in the world, right? There's a lot going on, and people claim to be things that they really aren't. But I'm not here to do that. Okay? I'm here to help people find their way home. I'm here to help people rise through what is needed. Okay? I've done things like activate pyramids from Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand. There were 13 of them. And those are the Ascension portals. And I've done a lot more things. And this painting was my painting I did when God said, enough, it's time now to rise. And I put us into the Nile energy, which means we are now rising through the portals. When I dried the Nile and turned it to blood and dried it up and called power back from the time of Sekhmet and Horus timeline, as well as the Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Adam and Eve, there was a lot to it. I was called to do this painting. It is a finality time, right? Like we are in a time of truly needing to understand, truly needing to heal, to rise, truly needing to grow as a soul, because those are the keys. The painting up here was 7D. We went into 7D instead of 5D, right? So we need more healing. We need to understand our whys. Why are we wounded souls? It's time to let those go, okay? Which leads me into forgiveness. But I am working on my new earth painting because after I birthed the new earth and all that stuff, Spirit said, okay, now paint this. And I got an image. And this is just one piece of it, but check this out. So I've been working diligently on this. It is a 3-piece component, right? Because every major portal, Spirit gives me an image to paint. I do painting healings, art healings as well, because our creative side is part of our balanced flow, okay? So this, I've been working on my sun. Check this out. It's a little different than that sun. I thought they were going to be similar, but it's not. So this is one side of it. You can see where the green screen is, right? This is one side of it, okay? I've been working on my sun. I'm very proud of it. It's almost done. It's not quite done. And then this is the middle section. And I'm not done with it. These are piecing together. You can see where the green is. I ain't gonna lie about my green screen. And then I'm actually really, really proud of this side too. And I have not finished it yet. I have not finished it yet. So no perfection here right now, okay? But this is the final side of it. I love it. Okay? So this reflects the journey of the healings that have been done into New Earth. And this all came just from an image they channeled through me. And I've been working to put it together. Hopefully I'm doing it justice. But I'm really excited about it, right? And so being creative is part of our balanced flow. We must be balanced from the heart center. But how do we get there? We have to heal. We have to truly heal to rise. Okay, it's not just a given. Some people think we don't have karma to clear. Some people think we don't have to heal. It's just, oh, yay, we're blessed and we get to heal and rise. We get to rise. The earth is going to heal us for us. No, God gave you free will. Okay, God gave you free will. So we must utilize our abilities to grow as a soul. Does that mean we don't need each other? No, we do need each other at times. But if you are not doing your work, if you are not questioning your reality, if you are not digging deep into the truths of the existence as to why, and healing things that are outside of unconditional love, it's not just a given. Those are the components. Okay? So we're going to go into forgiveness. What is forgiveness? A deeper dive. I don't like the word deep dive because we might miss layers. We're going to dig deep. Yeah. Let's dig deep today. Are you ready to dig deep with me into forgiveness? I am. Because it's been needed from me as well. You know? Forgiveness. I channeled also from Spirit, but what I know in doing the work that I have done and bringing through a big portion of the Return of Christ work, you know, I hesitate in saying that, even though I know mine is legitimate. It's really the work. It was my own awakening. It comes from a place of my heart. There are a lot of people out there that claim there's something, and it's hurtful because they're not being truthful. Maybe they need a little further understanding, but the world is a lot to handle. It's a lot to process. And so what I'm telling you is from truth, authentically truth, okay? We must be authentic. And in order to have forgiveness, authenticity is required. Strength is required, okay? So we're going to dig deep into forgiveness. There's multiple components to forgiveness. There's like 3 main layers to the word forgiveness and what it means. 3 main layers to the word and what it means. But first of all, you cannot have forgiveness without acknowledgement of it. Without acknowledgement of what it means, the benefits of it, and how to have it. And it depends on which side of that forgiveness you fall upon. Okay? So let's dive into it. Let's dig really deep into forgiveness because, number 1, have acknowledgement. What does acknowledgement and forgiveness mean? There are so many times where I have noticed that people will do things that are very, very, very hurtful. And they can't even get out of their own energy to see how it made you feel. Right? There's 2 sides to every coin, so I'm going to try to dig into both sides, okay? But hear me out for just a second. Let's put it on the side of the person who did the hurting, who did something that caused somebody to be hurt. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. Okay, we'll dig into that as well, because this is deep, right? This is a deep thing, and it's part of karmic cleansing. I got a message from Spirit about this. So from the side of the person who did the hurting, the other person becomes extremely hurt. And if they can't see the totality of how it hurt that person, they can't clear it from their side. Does that mean the person that got hurt can't forgive? That has nothing to do with it. Forgiveness does not equal a healed relationship in its totality of itself. Let's express that again. Forgiveness does not equal a full-on healed relationship in the totality in and of itself. You know, they'll say that saying, forgive but don't forget. You never can forget, but that's also really not forgiveness in its totality, because I'm going to explain that too. If you're not forgetting, if it's something you're holding on to, you haven't forgiven. Is forgiveness just for you when somebody has hurt you? Yeah. For the most part, yes. Because it's not often you're going to get an apology. You don't always, do you? You don't always get them to see your lens. That's a key. The person who did the hurting, if they can't see it through your lens, it cannot be fully rectified on their end. Okay, that's a key component. Now, forgiveness is a dig deep, and we got to dig deep into this one, so bear with me. And I know, because I've had to come to a place of this on my own, in my own journey, and as a heart of pure love. Because we always want to forgive people, but do we want them hurting us again? No. And unless they have done their own work, likely they are going to again, because they can't see clearly. Okay, generally speaking, when people hurt you, they can't see clearly. Most people, not everyone, has an intent to hurt others. So intent is everything, okay? Now, intent isn't always clear. No, nay. We can pretend we know their intent, but we may not, okay? You can't see every wound of their heart. But here's the thing about wounds. Wounds are blinding. Wounds get people to hurt others, right? When you're bleeding, you can bleed onto others. But if they're not willing to dig deeply and to heal those and to rectify those and to fully clear them out, that relationship that requires forgiveness is not about the forgiveness. It won't be able to be fully healed. Okay, so forgiveness and healing the connected tie can be two different things. Okay, light bulb. Forgiveness is not always about healing that relationship tie together again. Not always. Sometimes. And we have to be aligned on both sides to do it. Now this is why it's really about digging deep, isn't it? Okay. So the main components to forgiveness, number one, you have to acknowledge it. Number one, you need to acknowledge that you need to forgive. Or the person that is requesting forgiveness needs to acknowledge why and how, the totality of what they did. Okay, so there's two sides to it. You have usually the person who did the hurting, and then the person or people on the other side that got hurt. So those are two different sides. And in order to fully heal the entirety and the totality of the energetic wave that was severed and divided, both sides have to see equally and evenly as to what was done and have an open heart to fully clear the yuck and the muck. Okay? Full on acknowledgement, full on strength, full on unity back to love. But that requires full on work on both sides. So forgiveness isn't always about that. Forgiveness can sometimes just be about keeping your vibration worthy, keeping your vibration high. So if somebody hurts you deeply, you've got layers of that. There's people who go and murder people and their loved ones suffer too. Like, they cause a havoc of carnage, right? They hurt lots and lots of people. And you hear people talk about, I had to forgive them. And they may never see totally what they did. And that's a deep one, because you can't rectify fully the wound, right? But if you don't find the forgiveness, you will never be whole either. Okay? So forgiveness is warranted. Forgiveness is necessary. But you know how they say forgive, don't forget? Forgiveness doesn't always mean I have to be close to that person ever again. right? I don't know that trust and everything will be rectified within that forgiveness. Everything is layered, right? That's why you got to dig through all the layers, okay? But forgiveness in itself, there are forgiveness of the self, forgiveness of others, and forgiveness of the event or circumstance. So those are the three main components or layers of forgiveness. Now they go deep. You got to dig through each layer. But with forgiving, if first of all, if you don't acknowledge it's necessary, you can't get there. So acknowledgement, and then it's the forgiveness part. And it's either forgiveness of self, which is always required either way, forgiveness of others, and an event or the circumstance that occurred. Now, here's the thing about forgiveness is it can become a power play. Oh, yes, it can become a power play. And I'm going to explain how, okay? So you have to be very careful with that. That's why forgiveness should be about you. It should be about your worth, your vibration, your vitality, your health, and your ability to be in your own power. And your ability to give them their own power without expectations. A lot of times we don't want to forgive because we want that apology. We want that recognition. That apology and recognition is going to mean that they want to heal that relationship. They want to come together as you once were. And it does take knowing how to truly heal the wound and the why and getting down to the nitty-gritty of it on both sides equally to heal that tie. Is that possible? Yes. But that's not always the point of forgiveness. Sometimes forgiveness is just one-sided, and that's okay. We have to accept that. We have to be okay with that. But a lot of times people want the validation of the wound, but they can't always get that. Okay? You're asking somebody to see something they didn't see the first time through. Digest that. So forgiveness is based in an underlying component that was created and developed outside of unconditional love. And that's why it's a very important part of karmic clearing. It's an underlying component that is based outside or created outside of an event of unconditional love. That is outside of unconditional love. Okay? That is to why and how it happened. What created that scenario for the event that caused pain? It was created and compounded from a space outside of unconditional love. Number one, you need to see that. So we will oftentimes look at how can somebody be so evil. God doesn't use that word. God does not use the term evil. There is no evil. It's either light or dark, and it's love or not love. And where there is shadow, you cannot see fully into love. And most people in a broken world are not whole. And so there are components of every person on this planet where they can't see clearly. You know, you have to be careful of judgment and power control when forgiveness is required. And I'm going to dig deep into that one too, my friends. It is a wound from a shadow component of blindness, shackled and bound. Like an infection, it can turn and spread and leave all involved shackled, wounded, divided, and bound. It is like an infection that can spread, right? That's why they say wounded people bleed wounds. It's an infection that spreads. And I'm getting a lot of chills from that. And oftentimes it's because we're seeking that validation or we don't even know what to do with it. For how do you heal the wound? It's at a certain layer of healing you come to a space of forgiveness required. I'm getting so many chills. When the heart is wounded, and that's where shadow usually is developed. Okay, it's from a wound. Hurt, deep sorrow, deep pain. And then we can become toxic. We can become unforgiving. The chills are overwhelming. We are so wounded we can't see clearly anymore. And then we lash out. We do things from a space of blindness, shackled and bound. We give our power away so quickly because, first of all you can focus on is you. A lot of times, most people can only focus on them. Their world is just them. They don't see from a lens of others' perspectives. So it's hard for them to even see how they hurt others. Right? Narcissists are really that way. They'll talk about that. That's why gaslighting comes in. They cannot see your wounds. They sometimes don't even care. They don't even care. Why are you bothering me with this? Get over it. And so to sit here and want them to feel how you were feeling. How many times have you heard that? I want them to feel what I am feeling. I need them to feel what I'm feeling. I'm going to pay them back. I need them to feel what I am feeling. That's a power play. Why do you need that? So their karma becomes yours? Justice. Eye for an eye? No, you're not God. It's their lessons to learn. God doesn't even do that because that takes away free will. That takes away an individual's free will to expect them to feel what you have felt. They must come to that on their own. Does that mean that you have to be close to them again to forgive? No. No. But if you carry that wound and you're waiting for them to rectify that wound, you could be waiting for many lifetimes. Because they need to come to that on their own. That's free will. So there's your power control. It comes in a few times in forgiveness. Forgiveness is deep, my friends. Forgiveness is deep. I'm going to slow down and let's dig. Remember, it's like an infection. And it can turn and spread and leave all involved shackled, wounded, and bound. Trust me, I know. One of my dear friends lost her daughter at 18. It was brutal. They were both in my wedding, my one and only. And her daughter died in a very tragic and brutal manner. And she was never the same again either. And so wounds, okay, it's a wound, it's a shadow component, it's a wound created outside of unconditional love or a sudden event of shocking, tragic things. An event or a circumstance, okay? It's an event or a circumstance that occurs that creates sadness and sorrow and heartache. Okay? And multiple layers to that as well. And it all stemmed from the underlying component of sorrow and love and a world that is broken. A world that is broken. It is hard to be whole in a world that is broken. And people want to question God, why people suffer, why people die. That's not God. God doesn't want anybody to die. I guarantee you this. God did not give you his son for you to torture and kill him to free your soul. That is not the case either. Okay, if you truly know what happened to Jesus and the work that I did, you would understand this even more. You have free will. Everybody has free will. That's what God gives you. And the world got distorted and divided and broken and torn and shackled by energies that were not of God. Okay, so it's not because of God that people die and have pain and sorrow. It's an event that occurred in a broken world. No matter what, nobody could live forever. Even in a perfect world, I don't think life would never end. We all have to have cycles. Cycles of understanding, of death, of birth. But all this tragedy is not based in God and love. And so I understand there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of sorrow. There are some things that it's hard to fathom. How, why, what is happening. People can also choose to die on their own. People have free will. That's what God gave you. It doesn't mean that somebody didn't snuff them out, though, right? Because that happens. Those are tragic events. So there are layers to forgiveness. And sometimes forgiving is so very hard. Coming to a place of forgiveness requires strength. Sometimes those wounds are a lot smaller than a tragedy of loss of a life. But no matter what, forgiveness requires strength. Okay? So in the totality, no matter what circumstance or event occurred, it occurred from a place of broken world energy. Outside of unconditional love. The world that we were in was not in a state of unconditional love. God was not here. It was shackled and bound. I know, because since 2019 I've been bringing it back again and clearing the darkness out. There was a lot here. So there's a lot of pain and division and lies. A world based in lies. So wounds are quite common. Ooh, the chills, the chills. Wounds can be quite common. But your ego says, psh, they're not worthy of my forgiveness. Psh, they need to feel my pain. You have to realize that those events occurred from a space of pain and sorrow and division and carnage that is outside of unconditional love. Because if God and unconditional love were always present and always here, we wouldn't have suffrage. The new earth is not about suffering or divide. There is no religion. It's all the heart and love. Connectedness, all one, all one, all one, all one. And in order to be all one, we have to forgive all wounds. But your side is yours, and the other side is theirs. We are all connected, yes. But do you really want them to feel your pain? What good does that do? That's a power play. It'd be nice if they recognized your pain and they knew how they caused your pain and they can see it from your eyes. That's a key component into healing those relationship ties of all karmic based. In order to heal karma, you have to see how you made others feel. Because then you're less likely to do it again, and why you did it. How and why, and then don't give your power away again. Because there's an apology without changed behavior is deception. An apology without changed behavior is deception. Oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And people want to forgive, so they're like, okay. And then they go and do it again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's what they say. Right? There's a reason these things have been coined. But that's because they didn't do the work on their own. So forgiveness is not always about healing those ties necessarily, unless it's coming from both sides for the same purpose of deepening our connection of love. It's not about who's wrong or right. It's about where love is not. It's not about who's wrong or right. It's about where love is not. Because we can sit here all day and go, those motherfuckers, look what they did to us. Look at all the pain they caused us. Look at all the pain. Look at all the suffering. Look at all this. And what good would that do us? I'm ready to be free. I'm ready to be free from those shackles that bind me. I'm ready to be free from the energetic ties that blind me. This is how we rise. And forgiveness is required. But forgiveness isn't always about coming back together. Because if that other person doesn't want to bring it to a space of equality and union through love, deepening the connection of love and healing what was not, you cannot repair those ties. They're not one-sided. Because we are all connected. But if you don't find forgiveness for you as the wounded, for you cannot fully heal that wound. Okay? Now, as the one who is doing the wounding, if you cannot find the forgiveness and come to a place of seeing things from both sides and clearing how you gave your power away to the wound and the darkness and the shadow, and then changing your behavior to prove that it is done, then you can't get that forgiveness back. Not fully, or for yourself. So it's about digging deep into what occurred and why, and then learning the lesson, clearing it out. Because in life, everything circles back around and God goes, are you sure you learned it? Like, did you learn it? Let's repeat the lesson. And then when the lesson repeats, and it's going to have a similar component, but it will be a little different because you'll never know when and how. When it repeats, in order to clear it, you have to choose differently next time. You're going to see it differently. That's how you know it's fully healed. That's how karma is healed. You have to be able to have a lens of clarity, a lens of understanding from both sides, a lens of clarity. And then when the lesson repeats, you're like, nope, I'm not doing that again. I got it now, my God. I got it now. Oh no, el diablo. You can't get me this time. Because it's a power control component no matter which way you are on it. No matter which side you're on, it's a power control wounded soul component. The shackles that bind and blind. Okay? So to clear the karma, if you don't go ask for forgiveness of yourself and of the one that you've hurt and of the energy, you don't want to clear it. So asking for forgiveness is always required. Does that mean they have to give it to you? No. But you still do your work for your side so you can heal it and clear it. And then when the lesson rises, because you have just told God that I don't want this wound anymore. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I don't want this wound anymore. I see what I've done. I see the pain that it caused others. I can see how I hurt them. And I didn't mean to do that. But see, God always forgives you. So it's not God you're asking forgiveness from. God never tell you to ask me for forgiveness because I love all of you. That's what he says. He is nothing but love. It's a vibration of unconditional love. That is God. And so the one you're truly asking forgiveness from is the one that felt the pain of your wound. God is all forgiveness. Do not repent to God. He already forgives you. That lowers your vibration. He already loves you unconditionally. What he wants you to do is see how you wounded the other from your wound. To see how you not being able to see that we're all connected and how you affect others hurts others. To see how everything is a reflection of you. Those are how you show God, I'm ready to heal. And then the lesson will repeat again. And if you haven't fully healed the component of what caused that pain, you won't be able to see it to clear it. When the lesson repeats, you make new choices. You make the choice in love. You make the choice to rectify, because if you really want forgiveness for somebody, God is going to try to align you to that component. That's God. But you have to ask because it's free will. You have to be the one going, oh no, I fucked up. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to hurt them. And chances are you didn't. Very few do mean to. It's intent. Most people are just wounded. Okay, are you feeling me? It's deep. We're digging. We're digging. We're digging. And so the moment you say, oh, I want to heal this. I want to rectify that. I didn't mean to hurt them. I didn't mean to hurt them, and it came from my wound. And I'm ready to heal that. And I know in order to heal that, I have to heal this tie. Because I can see it. I can see how I hurt them. And I'm so sorry. And sometimes people wouldn't see it until they were on the other side. How many times I channeled spirit and they're like, I just send them love and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt them, but I couldn't see until I left the world. Because they were wounded and blinded and shackled and bound in the shadow, in the world that was filled with shadow and darkness all around. And as a species, we're like, damn them, how dare they? And we don't realize they were blinded and wounded themselves. So are we in this for power and control and who's better than who? Is it ego-based? Or is it about where love was not? Once you get to that point where I realize we can't be whole in a broken world, I realize I wasn't loving myself, and I surely didn't have love for others. Wasn't respecting myself. I surely didn't have respect for others, but I can see it now. I want to rectify this, God. I want forgiveness. I'm seeking forgiveness. So then there is going to be an opportunity that aligns somehow, some way, and you won't know when and how. Testaments, tests. Because it's the universe way of saying, is it cleared? That's why you cannot just rise freely. You have to do these to rise. You have to learn these lessons. So when the lesson repeats itself, are you going to do the same thing? Or did you learn where love was not? And are you willing to only give love, no matter how difficult and vulnerable that may be? No matter how much you have to be exposed. It sucks when others judge you. That's why sometimes people will just continue on without asking for, because it hurts. You may not get that forgiveness from them. But God will give you the opportunity to learn the lesson regardless. Yeah. And once you have, oh, the chills, you guys. Once you have cleared that lesson and you made a different choice from something hidden in disguise that comes your way that has a similar component, then it's cleared. And then you rise above and you encompass more love and your relationships grow more stronger, even if it's not with the same one you accidentally hurt. Because maybe they're not ready to forgive within them. It's a power control, right? Their wound is so loud they can't see clearly either sometimes too, okay? Especially when it's a circumstance or an event that is so tragic. We have to understand that. So we may not always get the forgiveness from that person, but God is going to give you an event to help you clear it for your soul. Because in order to rise to God, in order to rise to the new earth and be whole, we have to heal all wounds. We have to heal all shadow and karmic connections that blind the heart from the one. Because God is pure, unconditional love. Okay? So healing and bringing forgiveness, no matter which side and what purpose, it's usually always to put in where love is not. That should be the purpose. To find more love. What am I doing that is outside of love? How have I affected people outside of love? And what about them that's triggering me outside of love? Because that's not their fault. They're wounded too. They can't see either. They're blinded by the shadow, and so they're reflecting the shadow. They gave their power to the shadow, so by them giving their power to the shadow, they're throwing the shadow at you. So how can you take that personally from a wounded soul? You can protect yourself. Yes, boundaries are good. But not blame and shame and judgment and ego. Okay? So forgiveness takes full-on introspection. Not an outward fuck yous, right? Excuse my language. It's not about how dare you, you. It's never about that. About me. What did I do? How do I clear this? How is this triggering me? We're all connected. So they're blinded, I'm blinded. There's blindness somewhere. They maybe didn't mean to hurt me. They're so wounded. Like, have you ever had horribly abusive parents and you come to the state where it's like, they did the best they could. They couldn't see. Sometimes it takes death to get there. Sometimes it takes them going to the other side and us losing that connection altogether to see that, you know what? They were wounded. They couldn't see clearly. Forgiveness is healing. It means that you're seeing clearer. You're seeing clearer to the wounded world that we were all in. You cannot be whole in a wounded world. So how can you judge anybody? Like this whole LGBTQ stuff and all of these things where people are different. First of all, thank God we're all different. If we were all the same, what a boring world it would be. We need all the components. We need all the differences. We need all the introspections and insights. We need the extroverts and the introverts. We need them all. Okay? But in a whole world, we wouldn't be broken. We're all broken and wounded because we came from a broken, a wounded, a shackled, and a bound world filled with shadow outside of God. And everything they told you was an outright lie. And they would use little bits of components of God to fool you. So that hurts, right? We were wounded souls. So how do you not accidentally hurt others when you can't see yourself? When you're doing what you thought was right, when you're doing what you were taught, or you're so wounded, you're reflecting and projecting. You're projecting. Okay? So, to get to a space of forgiveness, full-on introspection is required. Strength and the correct lens. Full-on introspection is required. Strength and the correct lens. Because if you are looking at how you did this, why you, how uncomfortable it is for you, you're not seeing from the lens of the wound and how you made others feel and where love is not. It's all about where love is not in you and where love is not and how you reflected that to them. How did they feel about what you did? Can you see that? Are you willing to see that now? How did your words make them feel? Do you care more about others' feelings just as much as you care about yours? Correct lens. Not a power control. And why on earth would you want them to feel your pain? I want them to feel my pain. Why? So the karma now becomes yours? That's not love either way. Okay? So to get to a space of forgiveness, introspection is required. Looking within, noticing that everything is connected and related to you. Somehow, some way. My grandmother once told me that when I was a kid. Everything is because of you, Brie. And I'm like, ow, you're mean. Like, what the hell? You did? They hurt me. What do you do? It took me a long time to understand that. My grandmother came from the right places, but didn't always have the right ways to say it. And she was a tough woman. And she was always like, if you're not learning, you're dead. I'm like, okay, Grandma. But it's true. But that's not even true, because even on the other side, we continue learning. But if you're like, your soul is dead, then yeah, you're not here to learn lessons, right? Okay, Grandma, I get it. Everything is because of you. Everything is a reflection of you. Everything is because your energy, your vibration, your choices, somehow, somewhere along the line. So if you're letting people treat you a certain way, it's probably because you're wounded too, and you're attracting the same vibration. You're not putting up boundaries. Maybe you didn't know what those boundaries were. Maybe you don't know what to look for. Maybe you're not listening to your gut when it tells you, danger, danger, Will Robinson. Don't go, don't go. And we're like, nah, it's all good. And then we go, and then boom, it's done. And we're like, shit, I wish I would have listened to my gut. So everything is because of you in a lot of ways. It's because you're not listening to your gut. Your gut tells you everything. Your solar plexus is a key to your soul. It's your inner soul, okay? It's like your outer world inner, the gut-brain connection, right? You ever heard of that? It's all there. We can dive into that too, or dig into that, but that's a whole nother ballgame. So you need to be able to hear your body. You need to be able to hear and see and feel the energies. And you need to also be able to notice. The first thing I need to do is look within. What am I doing to cause this, to call this in, to surround myself with these energies? What did I do to align myself to this space? Now, not everything is that kind of a thing necessarily, but energies are so complex, it really kind of is, right? Somehow, somewhere, we made a choice to align us there in some way, shape, or form. It is what it is. So the more we are inner, the more we introspect, the more we go within and release and heal all wounds, we begin with forgiveness of the self first, right? We begin with looking at our wounds, with looking at our why, with looking at what caused us to do this, and then applying forgiveness all across the board, raising our frequency, healing those ties, regardless of what the other side chooses to do with it, because that's their free will. They don't have to forgive you to have forgiveness. And you don't fully have to forgive them. Like, no, that's not right. You don't have to let them close to you again to forgive them. That's not the same thing, right? Because you can forgive them all you want. Maybe they didn't learn their lesson. Maybe they don't have a new lens. And so I'm not going to let them come back again and hurt me again until their lens is purely cleared and they've learned the lesson and they've proven it on the cycle round. Because everything cycles back around. It's never a straight linear line. Everything comes back around and says, okay, like consider energy, this circle, right? You're going, and bam, something happens. And then the universe is like, okay, we got to learn that because that was not love. So we're going to spend some time learning and showing you, and you're going to feel it, you're going to see it, and then it's going to circle back around to the same lesson. And if you learn it, then you go up an octave and you circle around again until something else happens. You're like, bam, okay, I got to learn it. And you keep going until you have learned the lessons of the soul, either for that lifetime or for all of them. And right now, we need to do it for all of them. And then you rise all the way up to the whole. Because your lens is of now unconditional love. You have learned every shackle that bound you outside of love. And forgiveness is the whole key to all of it. Okay? Because as you go, it's about forgiveness. What did I do? If you have the wrong lens and you're in blame, shame, ego, judgment, that's not about where love is not. Forgiveness is about where love is not. It's a vibrational shifting frequency. Let's dig deeper. It's a digging deeper day. So, does forgiveness mean that everything is okay now? That's what that means. It's like, I'm going to forgive you for me. And if you're on the other end of that forgiveness and you truly want it, I will wait for you to clear that lesson. Once you clear that lesson, I'm all for you again, and I can trust that I can be. Because I love you. And I want to be connected to you. But I surely don't want to be hurt again. So the only time everything is okay and we can come back together is when the lesson was learned, because you will be tested again. You will be tested again to see if you have learned that lesson. Because if you repeat it, then you need more learning to do. Because it's always about where love is not. It's not about who's right and wrong. Oh, they're right and I'm right and they're wrong. They don't know what the blah, 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 blah. I want them to feel my pain. That's a power struggle. That's the ego. It's not about them feeling your pain. It's about them recognizing where love is not, and they can see how it hurt you. And when they get there, generally they will feel your pain. Because it's their pain too. Mic drop. Whole new lens. So it depends. But forgiveness is truly for you. Because if I don't forgive, that keeps me tied to them energetically on a lower vibrational space. If I decide, and when I decide to forgive, the chills, I release that lower vibrational tie and I heal my wound, which causes me to rise. And then you have a choice to do so to you, but it's on you. And if you rise to my vibration, if you've learned the lesson and you meet me on the up wave, oh, loves and kisses and trust can be renewed. This is why we struggle with understanding how to forgive. It takes work, healing, and introspection. Not judgment, ego, and karma. Remember, people don't usually hurt you with the intent to hurt you. Most people don't. Even some of the most darkest people, I mean, there are people that do. Like, they want to go out and they want to hurt people. And it usually becomes from a blackened soul, or a soul that left love, okay? A soul that is not whole. And sometimes in this broken world, there's some things here that aren't souls. Whole nother video. So can there be things and people out there that do want to hurt you? Yes. So that's why forgiveness is not for you and them always. It's for you. Like, I know people on this journey who still can't see how they hurt me. But I need to forgive them so I can let go of that tie and they no longer affect me. So that they're no longer pulling me down. So that I am free and that I can rise in vibration. Regardless if they do or not. That's up to them. It's free will. They are responsible for their lens, for their healing, And I'm responsible for mine. I'm responsible for my lens and my healing. They're responsible for theirs, which is why God did not give you his only son for you to torture, murder, burn, and kill. So that way you're freed of your sins. That makes that's a shadow component. That's ego. And that takes away free will. So for you to go, I can't forgive them until they see what I did, what they did to me, that's a power control. And that's keeping you connected to that wound. That's keeping you connected to that karmic tie. You need to be able to say, you know what? They can't see. They can't see. They're blinded. They're blinded to that wound. They're blinded to the wound they're causing. And I can't hold on to that anymore. I can't wait for them to see it because they may never. I need to heal this for me. I need to rise above. I need to set this free. And I need to once again feel love. No matter what transpired. It's up to me to set my soul free, and it's up to them to do the same for them. Free will. Okay? So, these are energetic ties of connection, and you can either reconnect to love, where love was not, or you can hang on to that karmic tie, and it's like boom, 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 boom. We're going to keep ping-ponging off each other. This pain is going to keep happening, even with other people, because we're not willing to let go of that karmic connection and learn the lesson in forgiveness. Introspection is required where love is not. Do you love yourself enough to say, you know what? This happened. It sucked. It hurt. But we weren't clear on each side, right? They weren't clear. They didn't know. I can still send love, clear my energy, and rise above. And if that means I'm walking away with love, then I'm walking away with love because I can't expect them to rise with me. It's up to them. But just because I forgive does not mean that they're in the clear. You feel me? Just because I forgive doesn't mean that they're cleared. It means they have no power over me anymore. There is no more energetic connection to that wound, but that's what the shadow wants. The shadow wants us divided and angry and saddened because our vibration's weaker. So if we don't heal that tie of wound, we cannot clear the vibration into love. And they may never see what they did to you. And that means they don't rise with you. And I feel like sometimes that's where people are afraid to forgive, is because they think they don't deserve, the other person doesn't deserve to have their forgiveness. But your forgiveness doesn't change their outcome. They do. Your forgiveness changes your outcome. And it takes some healing to get there, doesn't it? It's hard to forgive from a way open wound. So introspection is required. Healing it. Loving yourself unconditionally and seeing where love is not. And then you cut that energetic tie of that wound, which means you're not going to continue pulling that wound forward anymore from others or from that person. And if you forgive them, that doesn't clear their wound for what they did. It clears your heart and allows more love within you. It sets you free from that energetic tie. And it allows you to have more love for you. Okay, so when they say forgiveness is required, and if you listen to the Ho'oponopono prayer, this is why I'm going to do a spin on the Ho'oponopono prayer. Because sometimes we're the ones wounded, and I don't need to beg them for forgiveness. It's for me. I need to give myself forgiveness. I need to give myself love. And I can give them forgiveness and love required regardless, right? But if you listen to the Ho'oponopono prayer, it's like, I'm free. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you. We can turn that a few different ways, and it'll help you. It'll help you cut that energetic tie. Because sometimes when we're like, I'm sorry, it's still a connection. We're looking for that forgiveness, or we're looking for that validation from the other person. And we may never get it. It's not about them. It's usually about you. It's usually about cutting that energetic tie. Now, if you're the one who did the wounding, you do want that forgiveness, right? So you're going to put that out there, and you're going to hope that they can see that you truly have learned something and that you really do care about how they feel. Unless you're just an asshole and you're asking for forgiveness for your own ego. I'm looking for forgiveness because I just don't want people to think less of me. Rather than I learned it, I see where the wound was. I truly am sorry. And next time it comes back around, I'm not going to choose the same thing because I just genuinely want to love you. I genuinely want to love you and love me more. And I'm sorry I was wounded and I didn't see. And please believe I won't do it again. And then you prove it. That's a whole different ball game. That's how you heal. That connect and tie into love. Okay? So you do have to ask for forgiveness if you want forgiveness. You don't just expect somebody to forgive you if you're not willing to say, dang, I'm so sorry I hurt you. Look how I hurt you and I see how I hurt you. You do want to show them that you see it. Because if you can't do that, your lens didn't change. It's about you. And nobody wants to forgive that. They can't forgive that in that way. You have to show that I see now. It's clear now that I see your side of it. It's clear now that I see the wound that I reflected onto you, that I projected onto you, and I am so sorry. And I was wounded, and I didn't know, I didn't see, and that is not an excuse. That is the truth. The shadow blinds all. Wounds blind you, okay? And so you have to have a heart willing to give and receive forgiveness. All right, so now here's what Spirit says. Well, this was all based in Spirit and God, but this is a clear message. Forgiveness heals an open wound, okay, no matter which side it's from or both. It creates power, leakage, and divide if you carry a wound. So if you're carrying a wound and you're refusing to forgive, or you're waiting for them to do something to forgive, it's this power leakage. And if you're reacting from a wound, you're giving your power away to the shadow. If you are reactive to the shadow, to wounded self, to ego, to jealousy, to envy, to all these kinds of things, you are going to throw a wound. You are going to hurt somebody because that is your lens and that's about you. You're not seeing how you're hurting others, okay? Or releasing the pain that was in you. You're giving your power away and it causes divide. So forgiveness provides lessons of the wounded soul that can lead to your karmic demise. Okay? Wounds are lessons of the wounded soul that can lead to the karmic demise. Karma are lessons of the wounded soul that can lead to your demise. Karma is lessons of the wounded soul that can lead to your demise if you do not choose love and to rise. Forgiveness deepens understanding and connection of love. Okay? To choose to change the energetic tide, the energetic connection, you have to choose to change the frequency. So if you're holding a grudge, if you're having a hard time forgiving them, you're holding on to that wound, you're giving them power to what they did to you. And you're still connected to them through that. That's why forgiveness is so important. It's not always about them getting to be clear of what they did. They still have to clear it. It's about you releasing their power control over you. So if somebody hurts you and you become afraid for the rest of your life, or you avoid certain situations, or you keep having that memory come up, I have it. People have hurt me so bad in this. And when you move on, they think that how dare you, right? But if I stayed there, if I continue thinking about it, if I continue letting it dictate what I do, if I let that wound determine my choices, then I'm giving my power to you. I'm still holding on to that tie of a wound. So forgiveness is so important. Now, when a wound occurs, no matter which side it's on, it doesn't just affect one side of an energetic wave. There's always two sides, if not more. Okay? Forgiveness allows you to place the energy where it belongs. So I feel like some people don't want to forgive because they don't feel like that person cares. They don't feel like that person sees their wound or that person's learned anything. And if I just forgive them, it clears it. No, it doesn't. It clears you. But they still have to clear their side. And if they never do, they cannot rise in love, no matter what for the ascension or as a soul. Okay, so sometimes I feel people hesitate for that. If I just forgive this, it lets what happened go. For you, it does, not for them. They have to do their own work. Okay, so remember, the thing that happened doesn't just affect one side of an energetic wave. Healing does and doesn't. If you heal you, you cut that karmic connection, that tie of a soul power leakage, and they have no choice but to see their own truth, deal with their own truth, and you no longer give them your power. Okay, so it places the energy where it belongs. You are no longer controlling my life. You are no longer having power over me, and I no longer have to think of you anymore. Or what happened. It doesn't control me anymore. It's not going to circle back around anymore. Okay? You are responsible for your own reactions. You are responsible for your reactions on both sides. Your healing, you're responsible for your own healing. You're responsible for your lens. Nobody else can do that for you. It doesn't matter. The wound affects both sides, but healing can only be for one. Forgiveness can only be for one because we have free will. It has to be on them and it has to be on you. So you waiting for them to do something to heal you, to help you, that's a power control too. So everything I say works both ways. These are lessons in karmic ties and shackles that bind. Holding grudges can be an attempt to make sure others feel less than. Forcing them to do something is a power control. You can't force anybody. That's power and ego. It's up to each individual to be in their own truth, their own power, and fully rectify and heal both sides. Forgiveness doesn't require an apology. A healed relationship does. Forgiveness doesn't require that apology. A healed relationship does. Healing energy tie. Recognition, seeing how it fully affects both sides. You have to see how what you did affects those it affected and how it affected you and why you did it. And then clear it in the lesson return. Love, requesting forgiveness and changed behavior when lesson presents itself again. Okay? So love, it's requesting the forgiveness. How do I gain more love? How do I forgive? How do I clear this out of my karma? You have to love. You have to see it. Requesting the forgiveness. You do have to, if you want forgiveness, you have to ask, but you can't expect them to just give it right away. You're opening it up and you're planting a seed, and it's up to them to do it or not. But you can still request it and clear the wound. So with love, you're requesting forgiveness. You need to request it if you hurt somebody. You have to. You have to see what you did, and you have to show them that you did. And then changed behavior when the lesson presents itself again. All right, so that was a lot. It's important to sometimes digest these over and over again, to listen to them very intently and deeply, because these are true lessons of soul growth. These are lessons in how to come closer to God, because God is not what they told you he was. He's pure unconditional love. That's Christ's consciousness, all connectedness. That's why everything is truly a reflection of you. So if you can't find forgiveness and heal this energetic tie of low vibrational wounded soul, it's going to continue reflecting for you as well. Okay? Because it keeps your vibration at that low level, that low tie. And you don't want that. Or do you? It's up to you. It's free will. Everything is free will. And you have to do the work to rise. Okay? No matter which side you're on. So now I'm going to bring a healing of a different kind of Ho'oponopono prayer. All right, are you ready? I'm going to channel this through. So if you wish to receive, just put your feet on the floor and your palms facing up. And depending upon you and which side of the coin you're on, at the very least, it should give you a clearer lens. Because, you guys, my friends, if you are still connected to those same people, those same energies, those are energetic ties. If you cannot have the forgiveness and release that lower vibrational tie, you cannot see clearly either. So once you get a clearer lens and introspection is happening, you're going to see clearer. They may not, but you can. And that's what it's all about. A lens of all connectedness. A lens of where love is not. not who's wrong and right. Love. Where was love not, and what can I do to get more love and give more love equally? Okay? So, if you wish to receive, just set the intent to receive. I call in the energies of those that truly wish to receive this. If you have caused me a wound and you just go to my things behind my back, is that healing it? No. If you cannot be transparent, authentic, and truthful, you also can't clear it. Okay? So it depends on which side you're on for what you really need to do to clear it. If you're the one that caused the wound, because it's your wound that you keep reflecting, you have to truly be able to say, you know what? I done messed up. This is what I did. I see it, and I see how it affected you. And I can't even imagine, like, I'm so sorry. And I see how it made you feel. You need to show them you see it. You need to show them that you understand how you hurt them and how it made them feel. And then when the lesson turns back around, you don't do it again. Once that lesson is fully cleared and rectified and not repeated, then that relationship can be fully healed. Okay? All right. So I call in the Creator. I put up any light that is of highest degree, inside and outside, in perfect time with the full moon energy that is still present. When you find this, it is the 18th of October when I did this, so there is still full moon energy present. So this is a perfect time to ask and heal into forgiveness and to cut those ties of the wounds, because that's what it's truly about, okay? So just put your palms facing up, at least have your chest open, not clenched fists, not tight energy, but be open. Be vulnerable. Be relaxed. Put your feet on the floor and feel my words. Agree to receive. I receive this. I accept this. I am ready to heal. Let's do a little tapping. These two fingers right here. I am ready to heal. I am ready to see clearly through a lens of unconditional love. I give myself permission to open up to this truth, to this acceptance of all seeing and all knowing on both sides of the energetic line. I am ready to heal, I am ready to forgive, and I am ready to rise above. I give myself permission to heal and rise above. I give myself permission to see clearly all sides. Forgiveness is on my side. So be it. Now I'm going to bring in some pink rays, and we're just going to bring it down from the heavens above. And green, pink and green, pink and green. Archangel Shamuel is also stepping in for those who might need the assistance and opening up their heart. Pink and green, love. It's about love. Forgiveness. Yes. Cutting the ties. Forgiveness helps you cut the energetic tie of a power play. They will no longer have power over you either way. And it is up to each individual to heal it and rise above. Okay? So we're going to bring down this light into the crown, the third eye, down into the throat, which is very tight. We're going to push it down into the heart space, into the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root. And we're going to begin there. And as that's happening, I'm going to grab these vines from the earth around your ankles and pull you down to anchor you into the earth. I'm also going to put a bubble of mirrors around you so that you can see clearly. And those can see their own reflections clearly. And just breathe into your chest and release it down as much as needed, and then just simply breathe. And I'm going to start in the root with the pink and the green light. I am sorry for letting myself be blinded. I am sorry that this circumstance or event occurred. I am sorry that love was not present all around and in all circumstances. I am sorry that we all came from a wounded space. I am sorry for where love is not. I bring in forgiveness, acknowledgement, and a lens of clarity and love. I accept this lens of pure transparency, and I choose now to only have love and rise above. I choose truth, I accept truth, full transparency applied. I am free of this energetic tie. I am free of the power leakage. I am ready to heal. I am ready to rise. I accept forgiveness all around. My lens is of only love. I release this energetic tie, and I now choose to rise above. I am love, and I am loving. I am free of ego and what bound me. I am love, and I am loving. I see clearly both sides. I give and accept forgiveness when it is requested and needed. I hold tight to my boundaries, but through a love and a lens of clarity and forgiveness. I am love. I am loved, and I'm ready to clear it and rise above. I release the tie of the wound. I set them free, and I set myself free too. And I'm going to go now into the sacral. So I'm going to take this light and rise it into the sacral chakra. I open up to clarity and ease. My lens is of unconditional love. I accept responsibilities from both sides. I give the power to where it needs to go. I stand in my own strength, and I stand in my own power, and I accept transparency and authenticity from both sides. I realize it's about love and where love is not. And I let go of all karmic demise. I'm ready to learn the lesson. I'm ready to see it all. I'm ready to let it go. I bring love and forgiveness for all. I choose the vibration of love and light, and I give them their power to do the same. I no longer hold on to this wound with any fear, doubt, or shame. I am free. I am free. I allow forgiveness to come in. I give no power to the wound or divide. I am free. I am free. And I'm bringing in more pink and green light and love and balance of love as we rise up from the sacral into the solar plexus. I call back my own power and my own strength and truth. I stand in my own abilities, and I give them to theirs too. I bring forgiveness to both sides. I accept love all around. And I choose to see that it was about where love was not. And I accept only true love and bound. I hold space for all possibilities without expectations of how, when, or why. I give that to God and to each individual's power. And I hold space for mine. I am love. I choose love. I choose forgiveness. And I choose to take my power back from the wounds, from the sadness, the fear, and ego. I give no power to divide and wounded souls, only to love, unity, and light, whatever that holds. That was powerful. I am love. I am all forgiving, and I am forgiveness. And I choose now to rise above. I choose to see clearly from all sides, in and out. And I accept my truths without any doubt. I have my power, and they have theirs. And through that we rise only through love. Going now into the heart space. I accept now all clarity, peace, joy, and heaven's grace. I accept the difficult lessons as I am ready to learn them in this space. I bring on faith, love, joy, and happiness and all that entails. I take back my power from the wound and the divide and the shadow that blinds. I stand in my power and my strength, and I give them theirs to do the same. I do not block them and I do not stop them. I hold space, for love reigns. For I am freedom, and they are free as well. I am love, and they can be love as well. We take our power back from the wound and from the divide, and we give our power only to unconditional love inside. Exposing the hidden truths, the deep wounds, and the karmic ties, and allowing love only to be our choices as we rise. I am love. I am forgiveness and I am forgiving. And I see clearly from all sides. I hold space for union through love only. Through all karmic clearing and love rise. But I stand in my power and I give them theirs. And that is okay. I am free. I am love, and I choose to rise. I am free from expectations. I am free from judgments. I am free from holding on to this wounded tie. I give forgiveness and I accept forgiveness from my heart, from my wounds, and for my lens. I see they were blinded, but I choose not to be. I am free. It was about where love is not who's right and wrong. And we go up now to the throat chakra. I speak love, I feel love, I see only love. I reflect only love, and I choose to rise above. I am free of all the wounds. I am free of all the ties of karmic demise. I am love. I choose to rise. I choose love. I am love. I am forgiving and I am forgiveness. I forgive myself and I forgive those that have hurt me. I am free. I am ready to learn the lessons that be. I am ready to be free. I choose love. I speak love. I see love and I feel only love unconditional. Equality, union, power, strength, all one. I am love. I am of God. I call all my power back from the wounded soul. It's only love that I need, and it's only love that I hold. I wish all others well, the best for them of peace and ease, and I am love. I wish only love. I am love. I am love, and I rise above. I wish only love. I am love. Love for all, life, equality. And we'll draw it all the way up to the third eye and crown. I see only love. I rise into love. I cut all ties to karmic demise and the shadow that blinds through God's eyes. I choose to see love. I choose to be love. I choose to reflect love. I am love. I love you and I love me. I am forgiveness and I am forgiving. I choose to see all that I need to see. I choose to feel all that I need to feel. I choose to know all that I need to know, and I rise above through only love's flow. I am only love. I see only love. I am strength, and I call all my power back from all wounded shadow components. They have no power over me. They have no power over me. Only love. I need not worry. I need not hold on to those wounds. I can be the forgiveness that I need. I can see through love, and I am love again, complete. I thank you. I hear you. I see you. I am love. So be it, and so it now is. I set myself free from all wounded ties now, inside and out. So mote it be. Beautiful. Now I hope you participated and received, and you can do that as many times as you need because everything is layered. We dug deeply. we dug deeply into forgiveness today. And I know it's a lot. So watch it as many times as you need, understand it deeply, and gain a new lens and where love is not. Don't be afraid to ask for forgiveness. Don't be afraid to own your truth. Don't be afraid to let the wound go and set yourself free. Only love, strength, and a lens of clarity. So much love, my friends. Soul warriors, game changers. Until next time.